Ugh. Wow. Just wow. This is a bad one. I cannot believe writing this bad exists this late in the main MLP IDW series. This arc is absolutely deplorable, vacuous, unoriginal, and uninspired from beginning to end. I have no idea what the point of this story was other than to piss me off to no end. So yeah, strap yourselves in, folks. This one is gonna hurt a lot. This is the Wings over Yakyakistan arc.
Objection!
Our story begins with a Wonderbolt demonstration taking place in Yakyakistan with honorary Yak Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash's parents cheering them in the stands. I know how supportive Bo and Wendy are of their daughter and would naturally want to accompany her to a show outside of their lands, but other than one part coming up, they really serve no purpose of being here. We'll come back to that shortly. Anyway, after the show, the village is bombarded by a large flock of dragons, and this is where it all starts. While everyone is trying to figure out why this is happening, Rainbow suggests organizing a retaliation effort, while Spitfire suggests they just hide and do nothing. Our heroes and elite flyers of Equestria, everyone, standing by as innocent Yaks' homes and livelihoods are burned to a crisp. Next, the comic introduces this vastly out-of-place story element, where Rainbow is giving marching orders, overriding Spitfire's authority.
So you had your shot, now I'm in charge. Not anymore, you're not. From now on, you're answering to me. Not anymore, they're not. Now Nelson is in charge. Not anymore, I'm not.
It doesn't go anywhere, and the argument between them is resolved rather quickly and has no bearing on the overall plot at all. The real reason this dispute is here because it's a clumsy transition into this story about being brave and facing your fears when you're scared. We get a flashback sequence of Dash as a young filly who is scared to fly in front of others, and with the encouragement of her parents, she gains the courage to fly. Thus, the story inspires Spitfire to join in the fight. The parents were also clumsily introduced into this storyline, literally just to deliver this exposition and has no effect on the plot otherwise, and are ultimately forgotten after this. Now, yes, I can appreciate themes of teaching children to do something despite any apprehension or fear they may have. Throughout life, we are expected to do things that frighten us, but we have to bite the bullet sometimes, as there are times when it's necessary for us to mature and improve our overall ability to conquer future issues. The problem is, the theme of facing your fears does not coincide with the themes of this main story at all. It's just brought up in this one completely unnecessary sequence that doesn't accomplish anything and only serves to waste our time for 6 whole pages. Also, this line absolutely slayed me.
But the Wonderbolts are just great flyers, not warriors.
What?
The Wonderbolts are just great flyers, not warriors.
There is logic in what he says.
Really? Not warriors, huh? Yeah, I guess we kind of forgot about that one time. You know, that one time when Spike went on a rampage in Ponyville. Take that! Or, I don't know, this little group called the EUP. Take that!
The protective pony platoons were formed. The first performance was so full of energy, so highly charged, that magical lightning showered down on the crowd. General Firefly dubbed them the Wonderbolts.
And yes, I know what some of you are going to say in the comments, and I'm going to stop you right there. Yes, the EUP was established in ancient Equestria to combat any threats, and the Wonderbolts of today are primarily a group of entertaining flyers traveling around Equestria. But for all intents and purposes, they are a militarized unit that can be deployed if and when necessary for the safety of others should a situation arise. So for Spitfire to say this is just about the dumbest thing she could say here. Ugh. Anyway, after that pointless sequence, everyone heads out to combat the dragons, and honestly, the scene is decent, with their Wonderbolts doing some interesting aerial acrobatics to distract them as the ponies use magic to ward them off, with the Yaks retaliating with catapults. It's not great, but in comparison to the quality of the rest of the comic, I'll take it. The dragons eventually overwhelm the Yaks, leading to everyone standing down, and issue number 55 ends with the reveal of the one behind the attack, Granny Goodness! No, it's actually more stupider than that. No, it was actually Dragon Lord Ember. I don't even... You took Ember, who was a good, fun character with a great design and a decent arc, who would be a firm but fair ruler, and now you have her attacking a city without direct provocation that could have injured or killed many innocent yaks. Any other characters you want to artificially alter for the sake of the plot? Huh? Oh, but wait until you find out the real reason behind the attack. We'll come back to that, but suffice it to say, it is dumb. On to issue number 56, and right off the bat, it goes downhill. First off, we have this weird framing device where it starts with Twilight researching Agent Yak scrolls to find the solution to the issue, only to then suddenly go into a flashback of the argument between all parties that happened a few hours ago. So apparently the dragons are attacking because a sacred bond between them and Yaks was broken. And what is this sacred bond? Oh, just you wait, you're gonna love it. Again, I'll hit that point later, but the beginning was just such a weird, awkward framing device that was ultimately unnecessary and was organized like this just to artificially keep the meaning of the bond a mystery. Anyway, this is when pretty much everyone's characterization gets destroyed. Check this out.
Well, she still is a dragon. They're naturally aggressive. Perhaps warring is in their makeup.
I mean, wow! The Princess of Friendship just stereotyped dragons solely on their brutish look and nature. Wow. Compounded by the fact that she literally says this in front of Spike, her best friend and assistant since she was a foal. I don't even know what else to say. This is just blatant awkward racism. Oh, and she's not the only one. You have AJ and Pinky also stating that dragons are just evil jerks with no sense of humanity. Granted, they did just attack and destroy a village, so there's no real party to root for here. Then you have the Wonderbolts throwing ethnic slurs of calling them fire breathers, and to top it all off, you have Rarity, the one who Spike has been smitten with for the longest time, also calls dragons nasty creatures, and they're all saying these horrible things while Spike is in earshot of them.
What an asshole!
Spike even comments on everyone's insensitivity. And yeah, he's totally right. He is literally the only likable character in this whole situation. Everyone else is just a big jerk. Ugh. Moving on, Spike is abducted and taken back to the Yak village where the dragons have set up operations. Ember and him start to argue over the whole situation, with him rightfully criticizing her for not being the wise and fair dragon lord Spike hoped she would be. She lays on this weird guilt trip that she's trying to legit integrate ponies and dragons together, which is a noble cause to bring all creatures together. It's great. However, the message loses its power when you start burning villages to the ground. Which finally leads us to her telling about the sacred bond that was broken. Strap yourselves in, folks. This is amazing. So long ago, Yaks and dragons were at war with one another, until Dragon Lord Scintilla and Yak Prince Ulysses brokered a peace between one another. The deal was Ulysses would help Scintilla find a suitable land, and Ulysses would then in turn build his village in the mountains that eventually became Yaks of Yakyakistan. Before leaving, Ulysses bestowed the title of Honorary Yak to Scintilla, and declared it a sacred bond, which could never be replicated, until Pinky received that honorary distinction later on.
Everybody got that?
Dear sweet Celestia, where does one even begin? 1. How the hell did Ember even become aware that Rutherford made Pinky an honorary yak? Did the guy make this announcement far and wide? Did she have spies keeping tabs on the yaks? I don't know. 2. As mentioned earlier, Ember has apparently been trying to broker peaceful solutions with ponies. Yet instead of establishing a diplomatic talk with yaks, even after breaking this sacred bond, regardless of whether it was a mistake or not, your first act was to burn the village down to the ground. 3. I can empathize with the party that's had their sacred bond besmirched, especially when it's something deep-rooted in their society. But why, oh why, is the sacred bond something that can never be replicated? I'll roll with you on this, but you have to give me a reason why. Just because is not a good reason. 4. Why would the dragons of today care about this sacred bond? The entire thesis of their society is built around greed and competition. Why would they care about an honorary title centered around peace when they believe they are better and stronger than any other race in the world? 5. The original honorary Yak status came from the resolved peace between two warring nations, and Pinky's honor was given because she helped out the Yaks without asking. This entire current war is based around an act of generosity on the part of the Yaks for a single pony. The war is over a third party that was not originally involved during the original brokered peace. Again, great way for Ember to get dragons all nicey nice with ponies by starting a feud involving a pony as a catalyst for your war efforts.
Your stupid minds! Stupid! Stupid!
And of course, Ember refuses to listen to Spike, accusing him of being a pony himself, living with them for so long. You're a Dragon Lord, everyone. What's next? She gonna plan on murdering him in his sleep?
What? No.
The next morning, both sides march toward one another, ready for battle. Though before the fight goes down, Spike immediately stops the action and puts everyone in their place, and it's absolutely glorious. He calls out the ponies, yaks, and dragons' generalizations about one another, and it's so satisfying seeing the guy level the playing field. Rightfully so, as he is literally the only smart one in this whole conflict. He went the distance above all others to discover the source of the problem and resolve the issue peacefully, and now he's getting his due justice. Oh, and here's the real kicker. It turns out the Yaks misinterpreted this ancient scroll and thought that Dragon Lord Scintilla was a volcano.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Yes, because clearly the shape on the left is a volcano and couldn't possibly be misconstrued as a dragon. What with the angular head and obvious wings? No, volcanoes explode with ash and smoke in very distinctive shapes. And so it turns out this whole ordeal was just a big misunderstanding that came from the fact that Yaks are terrible artists, which almost led to the complete and total genocide of their citizens. Ugh. And so everyone forgives each other, the dragons help her build, blah blah blah, story over. Oh dear sweet Celestia, that was terrible. The only upside is that the artwork is decent, but otherwise this arc is an absolutely abhorrent slog to get through. The story is stupid. All characters aside from Spike are awful. Any lessons we're supposed to learn are completely diluted by the annoying plot and characters. Ooh. This one was a doozy, guys. Probably one of the worst in the entire MLP IDW lineup. Ugh. Well, here's hoping we get something better next time. Well, that's it for today, guys. Until next time, MC!